What is up, good human? I hope you're having a lovely day. This message is really for anyone who's going through a dark night of the soul. If you feel that your life is shifting a lot very rapidly and you're not really sure what's up from down, left from right, you don't know who you are. You might have thought you did, but now you don't. You're okay. You're in a safe space for one. For two, I also want to talk about this because it's very isolating and it can be maddening. You know, um, yeah, it can be really maddening. Layers start pulling away. You're like, oh, I got this figured out now. Maybe if you even go back in your life, right, and you conjure up a story of who you are now, and then it gets ripped away maybe 6 months later or in the future some point, and you're like, it's jarring, right? You're just like, what's going on? So this message is for you, and if you feel inspired or compelled, I'd love for you to engage in the comments. I think we all learn. I think we can all learn a lot from one another. Life isn't meant to be done alone, although it can feel like at times. I know I'm guilty of this myself. That just being alone is the safest place that I am. I don't have to worry about being someone because I don't even know who I am right now. I don't have to worry about offending people. I don't have to worry about living up to an image. I don't have to worry about, you know, just all the torment that comes with relationships with people, whether it be romantic, friendship, or otherwise. It's easy to have relationships when you're more fake, and there's so many layers to it that it's like it's maddening. So, if you're going through a dark night of the soul, and maybe you have been for a while, I know a lot of people, COVID really sparked something. I know specifically for me, these last few years have done a lot on me, done a lot to me, done a lot on me too. Um, yeah, this is really for you because there's so many layers to it. Like, okay, so let's say you have a spiritual awakening. I only just realized that that just means that you're more than your body. I don't know about you guys, but like I've known that for a long time. So I wouldn't say I'm going through a spiritual awakening, but I am going through like this deep, like, who am I? And you might think you have this answer. I've thought I've figured this out many times from a human lens, right? Who's Melissa? I determined before, my political affiliation, my sexuality, my understanding of who I am professionally in the world, of who I am as a friend, a lover, who I am in relation, to other people. You feel like you determine all these things, and maybe you have some sort of stripping, maybe some of these things change, or maybe all of them change. And then you're like, oh, I finally get it. This is the real me. Maybe trauma did shit to me to where I leaned more one way or the other, right? Maybe that was in there. And so you create a story and you live with this, you try to integrate this new persona, right? Or or so you think. New persona or more real you. And maybe you have even more stripping. It's kind of like if you've ever taken like wallpaper off of walls, you can pull a little off and you can like kind of see what's underneath, kind of guess what kind of wallpaper was under there. And you can make a pretty good guess by just pulling off a piece. But then if you rip off the entire wallpaper, you'll see that sometimes you were wrong, right? Like there's actually something else entirely underneath. But to pull it all away is not quick. It's not easy. It's not even a guarantee. And who knows if you even should, you know? Like, is it actually good finding your true self? What even is that? Seriously, what even is it? Because when you get there, I imagine it'll be another story, another narrative. Like, how many layers are there to this thing, It's like a never-ending layered thing. Am I crazy? Am I like being mad right now? Let me know in the comments if you resonate, if this has been your experience, because it's just like I don't even know if it's a good pursuit. Like maybe it's actually like a mental disease we should stop. I've thought about this recently because the more I think like this, the less happy I am in life. It's not doing me any good. We think this search of self, this pursuit, this thing, which either we choose or we don't choose, life just kind of forces us into this. It's not going to make us happy. So I like the more aware you get, the less happy you are, and I think that's pretty sad. And not that you need to be happy, but shit, I'd like to be happy, you know? I don't even know if I know what happiness is, you know? And you might think I'm happy. I'm joking, I'm doing this and that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like things are okay. But I don't know if I really know what happiness is. I know what sadness is. So maybe that means I should know, because if you don't know one, you don't know the other. But I don't know. There's just so many layers. There's so many layers, and it kind of feels like you get to a point of no return, because this becomes obsessive, right? It becomes obsessive trying to figure out who you are. And maybe you are growing at exponential speeds because you are isolated, you're not interacting with people as much, you're really just trying to like focus. Or maybe you're not, maybe you're just deluding yourself into thinking that you're figuring something out. How do you even know? This is where the maddening part comes in. It's like, I get a lot of people on the channel that resonate, and I think that's great. And I guess, yeah, I haven't asked directly if anyone else is going through heavy times. Sometimes I'll share stuff from the past, and I'm really not looking for sympathy. I'm really just trying to work through the things. And then I also know at the same time, a lot of people aren't talking about these things. That's why people like me who are isolated aren't really talking to people in real life. You come on here. I don't think you would have the bandwidth, or at least I wouldn't personally have the bandwidth to do these videos as often if I was actually talking to people. Because that's how it was for like the last week or so. I was actually living life. So it's quite a journey. I used to be so caught up in the ego, I guess, like I'm going to do this, that, and the other, and that's good. I kind of wish that didn't get ruined for me. Maybe there's a way I can go back. Maybe there's some sort of integration of yourself and ego that needs to happen, emerging. Because moving through the world in a blase, kind of, I don't care, nonchalant manner is really kind of depressing. It's not really a great way to live. But then the search for self becomes this obsessive desire, this obsessive hunt. It humbles you as you see how you interact with the world. It does a lot of good things, but for what? You know? It almost seems like something you can overdose on, something you can get too caught up in that might just swallow you whole. Because what if the reality is it's all just layers and perception, and you get to that truest self, which you just realize there is actually nothing. It's all just one thing. You know? Because to come back from that means then you're intentionally building your persona, you can call it fake, or it's not really fake, I guess, because it's just intentional. And maybe that's just where it lands. I'm not sure. I'm still just going through it. But yeah, if you're in a similar place, would love to see in the comments. If you feel free to share. Again, I think a lot of us can benefit from hearing stories from one another. And we're all just kind of gently nudging each other along. You guys do it for me by watching the videos, by leaving comments. And hopefully I do something for you, being a voice that you can listen to. So thank you so much as always for watching. I'll see you on the next one, and hope you have a good day.